So I wanted, you guys know, I guess, did Nancy mention to you that she's got someplace she has to be? So I'm gonna ask her if she could,
That's fine. Yeah.
and Ken's online, just, oh yeah, you were here when
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
hooked him in. Yeah, so
I'm just giving,
take it away,
I'm
Nancy.
just giving a really quick update on LWG. So
Okay.
we want to give you a brief update. We spoke 2 weeks ago to you all. The decision at that point in time was that we would meet with each of you individually to hear your individual comments about the Central Bar plan. And we were able to schedule meetings with everyone really quickly. Thank you so much. 2 on one day, 2 on the next day. Each was over an hour of getting feedback on the Central Bar plan. We got lots of useful information and feedback. We have met again to go over everything that you have given us as feedback. And we've drawn up a list of questions and thoughts for the architect to consider and answer for us. And so they, some of us will be communicating with the architect on those questions. I believe this week probably. And our plan is to have another meeting with you to present some revisions related to all of the input that we got. So I don't know when that will be. It really depends on when the architect is able to, give us feedback on the suggestions. So that's pretty much where we stand.
Yeah, and I guess maybe I would just add that I think, just from my perspective, because I was drawing up the list of, things to talk to the architect about, is that, it felt to me like there was nothing insurmountable in the list of things we were going to ask the architect to do, which I think is probably the best news.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. There were just some good ideas that we want to see if, some of them are feasible or feasible with a twist kind of a thing.
Or feasible with a $500,000 budget.
Yeah, things like that. And of course, when pricing is determined, then, other changes could be incorporated. But
I would just ask him, when he's looking at whatever's possible, just try to, if he says yes, possible, caveated reasonable, or like.
Oh, yes, I agree with you. Everything.
Just so you understand, and we can then understand as to, that's a good change and it's going to cost $10,000, or that's a good change and it's going to cost $300,000.
Everything with our conversations with him is, yes, anything is possible, including rebuilding the entire building, but we're not going in that
he knows that,
so,
and he's been really sensitive
he
to that,
is
hasn't he?
very cognizant of the fact that budget is going to be an important criteria of making decisions on this. So I think that that's pretty much what I have to update you. I would also just let you all know, I think you do know, the fitness studio work is starting today. And so the black vinyl baseboard was removed this weekend. I don't know if you saw it, Cindy.
I haven't looked in there yet.
The room already looks so much better.
Just taking the black vinyl off? Yeah,
Amazing
I mean,
small changes.
Okay, I had some questions for Vesta. I assumed Vesta was gonna be at the workshop, but I guess not.
I
Okay.
might know the answers, I don't know.
All right.
Maybe not.
So, let's see. Oh, actually, this had something more, it didn't actually have to do with the studio. This had to do with the fitness room and oversight. Never mind. Did not have to do with the studio. It had to do with the fact that, there were, youngsters in the fitness center, the weight room, abusing the equipment.
Oh, no.
And the instructor had to take action because there was no management on site at the time that it happened.
Were they residents? Do we know?
It was a resident and her children that were under the age of 15 that were in the fitness studio, absolutely abusing the equipment.
When you say abusing, what do you mean?
Like yanking on the machines, making the weights bounce to the point where like they felt like they were gonna crack the weight, right?
Oh, no.
So one of the instructors, because the individual came out, said something to the one person that was on staff from Vesta here. Just so happened that one of the instructors was also on site at the time, and the instructor had to take action because there was nobody here
Good
from
for the
Vesta.
instructor. Good for the
Yeah,
instructor.
no, I know.
Absolutely.
Kudos to the instructor for handling
May I
it.
ask what time of day or day of the week that was?
I was talking to you,
Well, if an instructor was here, it had to be.
You're here
9:30-ish,
7 days.
9:30-ish.
On a weekday?
On a weekday, absolutely was on a weekday, because I was talking to Keith at the
Yeah.
time. Yes,
So that's just a general comment, if I may make one, that there needs to be
Yeah.
management here.
Understood. And
At all
that's-
times for all things.
Yeah.
And
That's
if
what I
one
wanted to
person's on
address with
vacation,
them.
Right.
someone
So-
The
else.
phone number.
yeah, so that's a big issue in my mind, a liability issue on top of it,
Yeah.
so, but, okay,
Well,
I'm
Back-
sorry,
so-
Nancy.
And back to the
Yes.
aerobics studio, just one, I just want to sensitize you to it. I mean, I've asked several times for a list of what the costs are gonna be and
Me
the
too.
proposals, so that I can get the money transferred from reserves, because if they want to pay,
if they want
you
to
know,
pay.
if they want to pay them and, you know, I assume operating cash is tight. It's not, we're not online.
No, we're on. I'm just checking
But
the
anyway,
numbers.
yeah, I need that, and it's gonna take a couple days, so, yeah.
I've
I
been
don't have a
asking for
list.
that, and I have not seen it yet either.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I know we pulled the murals out from a cost perspective because the floor was gonna cost us a little bit more we had anticipated with the electrician and everything, but I have not seen a summary of this is what the sanding's gonna cost, the electrician,
Me either.
Miguel for the
I know
painting.
roughly,
Yeah, the
but,
floor is 5.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but I wanna
But that's-
see
That's bad.
vendor amount.
well, yeah, and I need invoices
Yeah,
in order
that's-
to, in order to
yes.
do the reserves transfer, and I don't
Yes.
have, or not invoices, but even proposals.
Proposals.
You know,
Well, I mean, obviously, we could do some of with that, but it should really come
It
from.
needs to come from
Vesta,
Vesta.
and
Yeah, I'm just-
So we'll be back.
I'm just sharing
tomorrow.
that with you.
Yeah, no, I
Apropos of
appreciate it, but
nothing,
it's.
so.
So it,
Thanks, Nancy.
you know, along those lines, since we're talking about invoices and everything like that, have you seen the Ritzman contract for signature yet?
Yes, I did,
You signed it. Okay, so that means it should be in Vesta's hands right now,
yes.
and we should be getting that scheduled so we can get that on the calendar for October.
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
another thing
Belinda
that I
has
had
it.
on
Belinda
mine.
has it, and
Okay.
I'm 99% sure, because I never trust my memory anymore these days, that she's actually sent that, she's completed that loop
She's
and told
completed the
them
loop?
it's signed,
Okay, perfect.
yeah. And I know what I have to do with it, but I
Yeah.
won't do any transfers till after the fiscal year.
Correct, correct.
I think we're done with Nancy, right? Yeah.
Nancy, thank you.
Thanks,
Sorry for
Nancy.
the,
Thanks, Nancy.
Yeah, no
Sorry for
problem.
the
It's just
long-
I have an appointment today.
yep,
I know
yep.
you
See you
do.
later. Thank you for your
Toodles.
help.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
All right, Ken, do you have anything? We may as well let you go first.
Yeah, I've done a couple things.
Okay.
Wanted to provide an update on the Welcome Center.
Oh, please.
Well, I was finally able to get in touch with Desi Howell, the regional vice president, who talked, fairly openly about it. It's hard to say if it's actually on the market or not, because he said they've not listed it with any.
Cheryl's on
broker.
my phone.
Oh, okay. You know, Ken, Cheryl's.
I didn't hear that.
Cheryl's on Keith's phone, so I'm sorry, could I ask you to start again just so Cheryl can hear this?
Thank you. Yes. So I was able to contact Desi Howell, finally, the regional vice president who has oversight for the golf club and the Welcome Center. So he said that they're not actively marketing it. They don't have a broker. He was not aware of a particular asking price or that level of detail, but he said they're amenable to discussing it. So they would consider both a sale and a long-time lease. But he would have to talk to his boss, Jim Oliver, to see how serious they would be. On the other side of it, and I think more importantly, from what I could determine at least through the tax records, that it's the building, that property is assessed at 1.8 million, 1.835. Between building, land, and extras. There's 62 parking spaces and a little over 11,000 square feet of occupied space. I guess the question for this group is, before we go too far down the road, is how serious are we about pursuing either a purchase or a long-term lease, given all the other expenditures we've got in front of us for the River Club renovations and the like?
I'm extremely interested in doing something.
Me too.
If, I don't think, even though it's assessed, even though they claim it's 1.8, I don't think it's gonna sell for anywhere near that. If we were then to get a loan from a bank for $1 million and just have the building sit there, but just clean it up, until we figure out what we want to do with it, that's like $50 a resident for 15 years. It's a great way of pay-as-you-go kind of thing by taking out a loan as opposed to an assessment. So everybody who lives here pays for it. If
Right.
you don't live here, you don't pay for it. You live here, you pay for it. You move out, you stop paying, and you move in, you pay.
Agree.
We don't know what
Yeah, I agree with that.
we don't know what that could become.
Yeah, and that could be bad.
And for the $50 a month or $50 a year it's gonna cost the residents, if that turns out to be a 7-Eleven or some other, we don't know what.
Methadone.
I mean, the $50 a year could take our property values down by hundreds of thousands of dollars.
We need to control it. We got $1 billion of real estate
And
in
it
here.
looks,
We need to control
it looks terrible. They're not doing anything with it. We also, the way it's set up is we're spending all this money in security, and now the person comes in there, allows people to drive in, and then you drive out on Passaro and you bypass our entry gate, and now you're in the community
So much downside.
unattended or unknown.
I think
There's
on
just too many
top of that,
downsides.
on top of that, I think that if we did pursue that line, I wouldn't be opposed to somehow doing the same thing with it that we did with the boardwalk, where the POA then owns it and it becomes private property. Because thinking about, and it's just a thought, and I'm not
Well,
saying.
we can't buy it and give it to the POA. If we buy it, we own it, we can't.
The only reason I'm saying that is because it's still public property or, public parking and everything. We would have to somehow then figure out how to make it an amenity where it's members only. But if we leave it as public, right, if the CDD just owns it like our streets and our sidewalks, that still gives anybody the absolute right to go in there and do whatever they want to. So we have to think about that angle on it. I love the idea. We just got to consider how we control the outside traffic with it.
Well, we just make it a private amenity, and you can close off the parking lot. And if we own it, you can close off the access to Passaro, so you can't get out.
Correct. No, I agree. I just don't want us to lose sight of that piece
Yeah, it's
and
fair.
then jump into it.
That's
It's
a
just
great
a
point.
it's a footnote.
That's an
It's a
excellent.
fair point.
yeah.
My personal feeling, is short. We have to control it. That's kind of how Cheryl, what about you?
Yeah, I agree that we need to control it. I think we need to be careful not to undersell the cost of it though, because it might be a loan that's, a few bucks a month per resident, but that building needs some serious upkeep.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just think we need to be very cautious about what we say to the members, to the residents.
Well, it also depends on what we do with it. I mean, if we make it back into a building, it's one thing. We can knock it down and make it a park. I mean, depending upon, but
Make it the dog park.
we can
Yeah,
figure.
even knocking it down is gonna cost,
Yeah, it's gonna cost something, but but all those things can be considered later down the road. I mean, but as long as we own it, we can at least make it
Agree.
prettier, and safer for the community
Yes.
as we decide what we want to be, what we want it to be for the next 2, 3, 4 years. Because obviously it's gonna take us a while to figure that out.
So then is the direction to Ken, or not, direction's the wrong word, but I guess Ken, you kind of have a sense of, do you need I guess we'll just find what the possibilities are. I don't know whether a lease is better than a ownership, but whatever. I don't know anything about those things.
Me either. We would probably want to talk to somebody about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna, I know Ernest at one time, had talked to me about discussions that were had with WCI or Lennar, just before the golf club was sold.
Mm.
And they had talked about a long-term lease for the Welcome Center, and he thought maybe there was even a draft of a lease.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I'll pursue that avenue as well. So I think what we're saying is either option is on the table.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, that's great news, Ken, that they're willing to do this. This
You
is
know,
wonderful.
The only other person that pops to mind is Larry Plotkin, because if I recall correctly, Larry's career, he knows a lot about this kind of commercial thing, so.
Yeah.
Maybe he
Yeah,
could help.
we definitely need the assistance of some people in commercial real estate so they can.
What are you gonna say, Ken?
No, I know Larry well, I know his work history, so
Yeah,
it's certainly a resource.
yeah, cool, thanks.
Great, thank you, Ken.
I'm crossing my
Okay.
fingers.
Me too.
Stay tuned.
Yay, thanks.
Great, okay, that was.
Did you have
that was a good
something
one.
else,
That was a
though?
good way to start the day.
Yeah, no kidding.
You had a few things, right?
Well, I had, the one other thing I didn't know if we wanted to talk about maybe during the workshop was the strategic plan.
Yeah, should we do it during well, what time is it? 8, yeah, we have plenty of time. I had quite a bit of feedback. Do you think, well, let's see, did anybody else I have a couple things, but they're mostly short.
I didn't get a chance to really look at it.
Okay, okay. Cheryl, did you have things for the workshop?
I have a couple things on the strategic plan,
Okay.
and just gonna update on the Laurel Road piece.
Okay, so what if we get through the bits and pieces and then start on the strategic plan?
That's fine.
Okay, cool. Laurel Road.
Okay, actually met with the whole crew, last week, and, very excited. We have a project manager specifically for the Laurel Road project. As I indicated, the city has kind of stepped down, and the good news is that, Juniper is going to clear both sides of the fence. And I don't think the city's gonna care, because they're not doing anything with it. So
Yeah.
they're just gonna make it look better. They said they don't wanna do all those plantings behind the fence around Medici and have the front of the fence kind of block it with all the stuff that's there. So they're just gonna clean it up and take all the debris away and do that. So that'll be great. Also, they've done the irrigation. They're working on irrigation. Keith and I are meeting with them Thursday morning. They're gonna go through and remark any of the plantings that they think should be retained, which is something I wanted to have happen, because originally there's not much that's retained, but there are some really nice plantings in there that they believe they can save. So they're gonna do that. We're gonna review that with them on Thursday. And then the following Monday, after we review what stays, they're gonna start tear out.
Wow.
Great.
So
Monday the
they're
18th.
very, this crew I think is gonna be really good. And we still don't have a date on the transition to Juniper for maintenance, but it's definitely in the works. And so I will reach out to them sometime this week and see if we can get an exact date for that. The other thing is Mestre Court North. Blue Sky did give us a bid. Keith is working through a couple of little details, and it should be no more than $2,000 to get that cul-de-sac done and to their liking, with a ring of dwarf ixora and then a ring of liriope around the palm tree and the shrub that's around the palm tree. So that is underway. Silvadella is planted, and I know there was some concern about the height of the plants, but every bid we had was a 7-gallon plant, and that's what's there. Those will grow, as you can see in the parking lot, really fast.
Hey, Cheryl, just one thing, this is Rich. I was one of the people who commented about the heights of those plants. And I know they're 7-gallon, but if you go online, that's the very, very bottom of the 7-gallon range. So maybe going forward, what we need to do is not just put down a gallon on the pot, but put down like a minimum and then an average size plant. So we're not getting I know everything grows, but we could have gotten a bigger 5-gallon, a big 3-gallon plant for for less money, and that would grow too. So why are we paying for top dollar to get the smallest version of it possible? So I don't know if that's something that landscapers will do. But it's something we should definitely at least consider going forward, because gallons is a start, but I mean, if you go online, they say the minimum height on a pitch apple is like 17 inches, with the average of 4 to 5 feet. We have a lot of them that aren't even 17 inches, and then I found a place, I mean, it's in Miami, that was selling 5-foot tall pitch apples for $25. We paid $70 installed, so I mean, granted, obviously, there's a cost to install them, and they're in Miami, but if they could sell a 5-foot tall plant for that kind of money,
Do we want a 5-foot
Yeah,
tall
I mean,
pitch apple
we
to start
actually-
with?
well, but then you can always cut it down at the hedge, as opposed to waiting for the, you know, but
It's a point.
We had the same bid from Blue Sky, and it's the same risk, and I
Yeah.
think we can certainly consider it, but it depends on the size of the project, and a lot of them, like Juniper's they have their own farm, so we're gonna
There
get
you
what
go.
they have ready to go at the farm, so in some cases we can, and I will talk to the landscape committee about that.
yes, it's just a thought, because I know, like, you know, whenever we do something for
Yeah,
facilities,
sure.
we get
Sure.
specs and this and that.
Sure.
But
Sure.
landscaping, it seems to be kind of like this loosey-goosey black hole kind of thing, and I just want to make sure we get what we, get what we pay for, at least the best we can get for what we pay for.
No, could you?
Okay?
All right, thank you.
Do you want to go?
I just have one small thing, something for us to talk about. One of the things that we had mentioned early on when Ken was reelected and Rich and I joined the board was to actually have our chairperson committee members do a quick, short synopsis on what's happening in each of the committees. I was wondering if we're still interested in doing something like that, and we should include that in future agendas. And not all 6 at the same meeting, since we're doing 2 meetings a month, maybe we do 3 at one meeting, 3 at another meeting, and just kind of wanted to get a pulse from everybody about how they felt about something like that.
It's on the agenda, Cindy.
The liaison
Item nine.
report.
But the liaison report, but I'm just saying the chairperson committee member, so like in my case, Mark and Nancy would, just give a 2-minute update on the important things that are happening with racket, and then Nancy would do fitness and pool. And I don't know, because a lot of times, from a liaison perspective, at the end of the meeting, we're so rushed to get things wrapped up, we don't necessarily give all the feedback we'd like to give on each of our committees. Just tossing it out there as an idea, just to see how you guys feel about it.
I like the idea because, we've always talked about, certainly since the first version of the strategic plan, committee empowerment, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, for myself, one of the reasons I've wanted the LaSalle people to talk instead of me is I think you all get sick of hearing from me. So I don't know, I'm in favor of it, but
Okay,
that's just me.
okay.
I'm good with that.
What about you guys?
Yeah, what about Cheryl, Ken?
I'm fine with that, it just,
Okay.
at the pleasure of the board.
Okay. So
Yes.
how would we, because we do all the committees, right?
Well, we would do all the committees, and I don't know if we'd want to split them up 3 and 3 since we're doing 2 meetings a month, just to kind of keep things a little bit more compact. And we, say the first meeting of the month, it's facilities, right?
5, 6, yeah, there's 6 committees, right?
So like facilities, RSAC, FPAC, and then landscaping, social and dining, and reserves.
Have you talked to I haven't talked to social and, well, obviously I haven't, but I have them Wednesday. Should we talk to our committees about it quickly and then?
Sure.
Yeah, my only concern would be so you're talking about having them come every month.
Yeah, only
A
to a person at one meeting, Cheryl.
How it used to go back in the day, because we did committee reports until COVID.
Okay.
And how it worked was at the last, I think it was the first or second meeting of the month where we had all the committee reports. And if the committees could report, they were there. It was brief, but we would just agree at the committee meeting who would be the person who'd speak. So either it was the chair or whoever
Okay.
could go.
Okay.
Should we, our meetings do run long, but should we, yeah. Should
All
we
right.
just,
Yeah, do we all want to check in with our
Yeah, I
committees
think
and then
so.
come back and then we can, if everybody gives us a thumbs up, then I can ask Belinda to add that, like, as an agenda item, as,
sure, any committee reports,
yeah, committee reports.
after the staff reports, or maybe before the staff.
Whatever,
reports.
yeah, and then,
Yeah. Maybe before the staff reports, so we can get them in and out.
right, yeah, that would work,
Yeah,
that would work,
okay.
early on in the meeting.
All right, yeah, I've got a meeting Wednesday, so.
Okay, great,
My thing real fast is Keith was very good, got us a quote for painting the monuments. It's like 11,000 and change, a lot closer to, I think that's what the number was, am I right, Keith? But yeah, a lot better than the 36,000 we originally got. But I know we can't pick color right now, so my question, so we could, at the next meeting, I'll have the quotes, I'll have that on the agenda and we can pick our colors when Cheryl's back. Do we want to just think about this? Do we want to do this probably in October? So when it's not raining, less rain in October, and then also in a different fiscal year.
And the money comes from the CDD reserves.
Should come from reserves, yeah.
yeah, CDD reserves, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, what do you guys think?
I mean, I think later is better, so maybe in October pending a final date, I remember last year we had one of the big hurricanes in October.
Yeah.
Sure do.
That's right.
Yeah, but yeah, we could always, but we could always plan for it, and then, if something like that happens, then we just, delay it, but
Yeah.
at least get it on the, approved on the board and set up and pick out paint colors and figure out how we're gonna go forward and do this.
Okay,
All right.
Yep.
Very good. Thanks, Keith.
Okay, I had a few things, and then maybe we can do the strategic plan. Mine, I think, are mostly quick. I asked Belinda when we were gonna look at the meeting dates for the next fiscal year. And she said, we would do it fairly soon, but, it would be helpful if we could come up now with any dates, that we were gonna avoid or any changes to the schedule during the workshop. So I have no date conflicts, and I'm happy to continue at the same rhythm we're doing now. What's your input on that?
I like the rhythm that we're working at. I think we are incredibly consistent with meeting twice a month, and our workshops are working out great.
We're getting things done.
And we are getting a ton of things
Yeah.
done. We are. And so I like where we're at. I like the pace we're moving at, so I'm
And
good with it.
especially with Hampton coming in, new management, we want to have
Yeah,
Yeah,
as much feedback back and forth in both directions as possible.
Mhm.
So I think I would keep it as is for
Yeah.
now, and I have no conflicts.
okay. You guys got Ken and Cheryl?
Yeah, I'm
I
fine with it.
actually, go ahead, I'm fine with it too. I have a couple conflicts. I have a big trip in October.
Okay,
That I think, actually, I leave on the 12th and I'm back on the 30th, so I missed both meetings in October.
okay. Sounds nice, though. Good for you.
yeah, good for you.
My husband
Yeah,
vacations
yeah.
on the Lanai, so. Ken?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, because I think when do you come back?
October 1st.
Oh, okay, all right, so we wouldn't have any quorum challenge.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Okay, I think that's the only thing. All right, cool, that was easy. I was gonna bring up credit card usage, but it looks like it's on the agenda, so I won't do that.
Well, we can talk about it if you want.
I think it's better if we talk about it in the main
Okay,
meeting,
That's fine.
when Vesta's here. This is my opinion, but, so just one quick one and one, they're probably both quick. So I was contacted, again by one of the homeowners who had some preserve work done in the back of their house. And I know, Ken, you and Dan went and did some cleanup. One of the homeowners continues to be concerned about the amount of dry stuff that's back there. And I think this particular lake, you said, Keith, I think you thought was a scrape out, right?
Scrape down,
What is it called?
scrape down.
Scrape down. I knew it was a scrape something or other. So does that mean that we or anybody can clean out more, that Swift Mud doesn't do their Swift Mud thing?
Well, The general rule with Swift Mud is that we can, I mean, they don't want you to,
Right,
okay, if it dies in there, they want you to, or if it's killing, they want you to leave it in there. Now, if it's in the buffer, all right, there's a buffer for a reason, but we can go in and take out really anything that that we desire to take out.
okay,
It's just, SwiftMed doesn't want you to, is one thing.
okay,
And two, the cost
Say.
of doing it.
yeah,
Now,
okay.
when we're bidding for, or going out with this for, Solitude or the new company, you can actually put in their bid or in their price that when they're in the preserves, killing, the pepper trees and those different things, that they take them out. Now, it's all money.
Yeah, sure.
You can build a bridge across these things, but we don't have the,
Yeah, I understand.
so it's all money. And,
So, I'm sorry,
No,
I
go
didn't
ahead.
interrupt you. Are they saying that this is some type of risk?
That's his concern, yes.
is it the same place that we took out a couple weeks ago?
It's 205, yeah.
Yeah.
He's still worried about dry stuff back there. Because I think in general, and it may not be easy because these are all natural spaces, but in my head, I'm thinking we probably should have some kind of an objective standard of what if we're gonna do a job like this, then, we should make sure if we're gonna do it, if it's, behind a home, that it should be cleaned up to a certain, anything that's been cut down, removed. But if it's a pepper tree that's 10 feet in, you're not gonna take it out, so.
That's the rule so far, right along the edge, we can have it removed and I can have, we can cut it out and either the Solitude or whoever you decide to remove it, or I can get Dan and go over and help him, remove some of that stuff. But further in,
Yeah,
and that's where you start looking at it. But the other side of the coin is too, and it's been taken care of for the last 20 years.
yeah.
And fire hazards are, yeah, I mean, they can happen anytime.
Yeah.
We had a house burn down, hadn't had a house burned down in 20 years.
Yeah.
So anything can happen. It's just the amount of money you want to spend to do it,
Yeah.
because if you do it behind one,
Right.
Well, the
you've got
difference,
1,377 homes you're gonna have to.
but I think the difference here is it was purely a result of what the brush hogging did when it went in.
And that's a
So-
lot of it. I mean, that's what we
Yeah.
did, opened up those areas.
Yeah, and I think some people are very happy. We just have, there's a circumstance, and I've been back there, and I get it. I wouldn't be happy either with the state of it. So
So you want more to come out than what we took out.
that's what the homeowner has asked. So,
That's on Portofino, right?
no, Vicenza, and well, Portofino too, right? Yeah, Portofino and Vicenza. It's that scrape down.
Right, okay.
Yeah. I think you have the addresses. Just give me a sense of what that's gonna cost.
Okay.
And on a similar note, I had mentioned to Keith that about the condition of all the dead stuff in the ponds now. The ponds are
Yeah.
horrible.
Mhm.
And I asked him that we should at least get Cross Creek to clean out the pond in the entrance. It's like he's made a comment, if we do one, we have to do all, but here's my bigger question. We paid Cross Creek to maintain our ponds. They should have killed the stuff before it got to the size and height it
That's
is now.
exactly right.
Now we're stuck with some stuff that's dead, some stuff that's not, stuff still needs to be killed. And when Solitude and Cross Creek or Premier come in here and kill off the rest, we're gonna be having this dead mess everywhere, all over the ponds. And as the stuff dies, it's gonna add more night, so it's gonna get algae blooms, it's gonna be a nightmare. Why is Cross Creek not held accountable to clean up the mess that they created?
Well, I thought Andy did say last month that we could take action to get them to take care of that. So we should ask Andy again today, because I'm quite sure that during that conversation, he did say that we could take action against Cross Creek to
Well-
get them to either take care of it or not pay them.
Well, we're not gonna pay them $4,000. That's the last bill. I mean, it's nothing. We're talking about, I don't know how much.
Well, it's gonna say in their contract, that they kill those, keep them going. and I understand where you're going, that, you know, they let it grow and then decided to kill it
Yes.
or, and let it get out of hand, which they did. But it'll be a little bit of an argument for them to, you know,
Yeah,
they're just not gonna get paid,
I,
you know, but to have them come back and clean that up after we move on to another company,
well, we move on to another.
they'll
I
thumb
think
their nose
all
at
we
you.
can do is try, you know.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and it might, I don't know if there's any, you know.
I can have a talk with,
Not
you
that I'm
know,
big on
with
most-
Matt and those guys and push the envelope further.
Not that
So,
I'm big on, not
Because-
that I'm big on, you know.
Because with the Cara and in this pond and whatever other ponds, the reading I've done says it has to be pulled out. Now, interestingly, I understand that Tim Schimberg unearthed a method that's used, and I think he's gonna come and talk at 9:30 in public comment about it. But that's my fundamental beef, is that they let at least this pond get so
Well,
bad.
so many ponds with the torpedo
Yeah.
grass and all that, there's so many ponds that are just so overgrown.
Yeah, the torpedo grass.
And they let it get to the point of this, and now they kill it, okay, so we killed it, but your job is maintenance. Your job is not to kill, your job is to maintain. You have a maintenance contract, which means you don't get to that level.
Yeah.
That was a failure
Yeah.
of their contract
Well, I
to
think we
do
should bring it up with
maintenance.
Andy.
And I just have a big problem with. the
I think a letter
commission.
should go out to them from
Andy,
Andy. And
I agree, and whatever additional cost the Solitude or Premier charges us to get that cleaned out, we ask for reimbursement from
Or-
Cross Creek.
Or let Cross Creek go ahead and let them clean it out and. you know.
I would rather have the other companies do it, and then.
Yes,
Cross
I would too, but my problem is, when they see the bill, they don't pay it, and now we're sitting with $100,000 bill from Premier
Well, yeah.
or Solitude.
Well,
And then-
why don't we ask Andy?
Let's
for
ask
full
Andy.
payment on the next couple months?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's only one more month of Cross Creek, that's it.
Well, but let's ask
You're
him.
right.
Yeah, let's ask him. Well, you know, so,
I mean, it's to the point, there's not much, right, there's not much we have in terms of financial pressure on it.
so maybe since we're on that subject, I was gonna wait, maybe I'll just repeat it because I talked to Andy about this. I sent, an email this morning to, I'm changing the subject from the ponds to Vesta. I sent an email this morning to Ginger and Dan and copied, Melissa and Stephen and Belinda and Andy, requesting directly, that Vesta, defer collection of its September management fee until the delivery, to our mutual satisfaction, of the full year 2025 financial results. And that includes, us ratifying any pass-through expenses, in the month of September. So, I sent that this morning. We'll see if there's any squawking or squealing about that, but, I just wanted you to know that I did that.
Do we have any,
Was there a reason for that?
Well, I don't want them paying themselves on September
Right.
1st.
Okay.
And then not delivering the financials.
right,
Okay,
You know, that's frankly my concern.
okay,
do we need to be concerned about any, staffing movement? In regard to that, do we need to also let them know that what roles they have today are the roles they have until Hampton comes in and decides where people need to be?
Well, I think the other thing is we need I might include in the letter that they need to provide a transition plan, because that's a problem.
And I agree with that, Cheryl, because I would love to see a transition calendar of.
We're talking about Hampton now.
No, it's
And
gonna take two sides.
Vesta.
Well, yeah,
both sides.
it will
Yeah.
take two sides, but it's gonna be driven by Hampton. And I was gonna get into this in the agenda item, but I actually have a call with Hampton this afternoon to talk about it, because they've already started some basic, standard requests for things, financials, balance sheet reconciliation, which Belinda and Vanessa are working on, personnel lists, including tenure, role, that kind of jazz, locos, a number of other things. and I think the challenge comes with the staff, because they're not our staff, and it's employment at will, so,
Right. I'm just saying, I don't want to see any staff shifts within the organization, people put in positions that, we can't control
why do
it.
you think we can't, we only, by contract, the only say we have is over the general manager.
Okay.
Well,
So-
that's the contract now.
Yes.
That's not,
You know,
No,
we're
I'm
not
just
talking
saying
about
right now.
Hampton,
I'm
we're
not
just-
talking about Hampton, I'm talking about where
Yeah.
we stand today in our current environment.
Yeah,
I
I
would like
mean-
everything kind of just, when you think about what happens in a transition from company A to company B, or company A absorbs
Right.
company B, typically things are frozen, like no movement, no promotions, no actions, we're staying this way until the new company gets in, and then the assessment's done.
Yeah, but you're talking about a merger.
Yeah,
This ain't a merger.
yeah, okay, all right.
So, but, and I know some people feel we should communicate with the staff, but we
Yes, I would
can't.
love to.
well,
But we,
I spoke to Andy about that, and I questioned him because I saw the letter that
Okay.
came back out. And I said to him, where does it say in the contract,
okay,
our contract with Vesta, that says I can't speak to an employee?
no, I'm not talking about speaking, I'm talking about blanket communication, we love everybody and everybody's gonna have a job, that's not something we can do.
Oh, yeah, we can't say that, but we say,
Yeah.
No, it doesn't mean we have to
Yeah.
walk around with duct tape over our
yeah,
mouths,
exactly,
but,
okay.
Okay.
but I think you're aware that there was a rather sharply worded email from Vesta Management about, I think that was sent to the entire board, yeah,
Yeah.
Andy sent that,
Yeah.
so,
About
You know-
restrict, they're under, they're under restrictive covenant. Andy, I said, if in fact Vesta does have a restrictive covenant with their employees, I said, how does that make me bound to it? He goes, you're not. I said,
Right.
and even if they did, and even
Right.
if I was bound to it, how do I make the residents? Because the
No, we
also said the
can't.
residents can't speak to the
not
employees. I said,
yeah,
how does and I said, besides that, they have no restrictive covenant anyway. I said, but regardless of what, I can't prevent a resident from speaking to any employee about any topic or anything
Right.
that they want. That's not under my control.
right. Well, so let me just, maybe it's helpful, and again, I'll reiterate this at, when we do the agenda item, which I think we should do because residents are gonna probably wanna hear this, and we can cover it at the 9:30 meeting, but, one thing Hampton has said is they will be, 30 days out, they'll begin here to transition employees, and that's
Okay, good.
actually pretty
Good.
soon.
Right. That's a couple
So-
weeks, yeah.
Yeah, so I think if we do see any movements or departures that are alarming though, because I talked to Richie Bracco about this after the last meeting. And, his advice, and I appreciated it, was, just, keep an eye on things, and if there's something you don't like, then, you send them a letter. So, yeah, I think we'll keep an eye on it, but,
And the one thing I found puzzling was, and I wish Kelsey were here so I can ask him, is it's off season.
Mm.
We're trying to give people hours because we can't, to keep everybody employed, but then he hired a new employee. Why do we, if we can't have hours for everybody?
yeah, I don't get that one either.
Why are we hiring more people when somebody left? It's a great time to not have anybody.
Right.
Let Hampton
Hampton
decide
leaving.
what's gonna happen when in 2 months or 3 months, because we really don't need more employees until November, December. So it could save us $15,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it's $15,000 that can go to repair or something, or paint these monuments, or God knows what, or anything else that we want to do, new kitchen equipment.
No, toward the deficit that we're gonna have,
Towards
which
the
is,
deficit. I
Or
mean,
just-
which is, yeah, the next,
Yeah.
that's,
So-
please don't get me started
Yeah.
on that, because I've got that issue with the
Yeah.
contractors. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yes.
so there's so many things going on, I don't understand why that occurred.
yeah, well,
And I really can't, and I'm not the best liaison, so I really can't
Yeah.
have that conversation with
Yeah.
him. But I was gonna bring it up today, why
Yeah.
are we adding on people when it's slow?
well,
Sales are- sales-
Stephen will be here, you can ask Stephen, I think, but, and then, because we do, we
Yeah, I
want
know.
to try on the strategic plan, but that was the one last thing I wanted to bring up is, and I don't know if the finance committee's looked at this, but, I'm wondering if there's sort of a view on, how bad it's gonna be at the end of the fiscal year. My guess is around a little over $100,000.
And F&B
Shy of budget.
F&B is gonna be $600,000, 575 to 6.
Yeah,
Plus.
okay.
Yeah,
But how does that compare to the budget?
495.
What were you gonna say, Ken?
About $100,000.
What were you gonna say, Ken?
I did a forecast for the fourth quarter by month, and I sent it to Melissa. I've got a couple of open questions on it, but I'm looking at something close to $120,000 consolidated loss for the year.
Okay.
And
Okay.
she seemed to indicate that that was reasonable.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
So more money
Okay.
that we have to, oh gosh, okay, this is really upsetting.
It is incredibly disturbing.
And that's why money is being spent for no reason, for people that we don't need.
Hey,
Okay.
yeah,
All right, so, should we hit the highlights of the strategic plan?
Yeah.
If you can. Cheryl, do you wanna go first?
Sure. A couple of things. One on the landscape and streetscape standards. I understand the intent of landscape and facilities collaborating with the POA. I'm just not sure how that actually happens. And since their streetscape is not overlapping with the CDD work, because it's all residential, I'm just confused about that.
I think the intent of that was for the CDD to consider in their actions the POA's community-wide standards. That's all.
And I
And
think
obviously,
it should say,
if there are
can we
issues-
reword it to say that? Because right now, the way it's worded, I would see the landscape and facilities committee saying, okay, well, we have to go meet with the POA. That looks like it's what the intent is, so, and I might be reading it wrong, but that's what I'm reading.
that's the way I read it as
That
well,
way, too.
Cheryl, yeah. So it just, we wanna make sure we're adhering to them, Ken, is that right? We're applying those
Yeah.
same standards?
Yeah,
Yeah, because I guess that would imply Florida friendly, right?
And
Yeah, so
I-
if we could take out the word collaborate and be, maybe landscape and facilities committee will consider the POA architectural control committee, but it's something, but not collaborate. That word actually kind of scared me. I was like, that will be kind of interesting.
okay.
So that's
We'll
that, and
rework
then,
that.
I didn't hear Rich, I'm sorry.
I didn't say anything.
That was me.
My other question was on financial reporting. And just a question, since the Finance Reserve Committee actually also has responsibility for monitoring financials, should we, in the strategic plan, ask the Finance Committee to be more involved in the budget process? Because I found it interesting when I was doing some of the reference checks. Two of the people I talked to, actually, their finance committees work actively with their management company to do the budget. So it was just a question. I thought it was kind of interesting because as a board, we are kind of limited in how much we can collaborate and talk about budget issues. So just a comment.
I love that
I
idea.
agree.
Actually, I spoke to Byron and, so go ahead, Ken.
Go ahead, Ken.
I was just gonna say, the finance committee would like to be more involved in it. We talked about it and at the time, the board was kind of taking charge of the whole process. And the timing, because they only meet once a month, the timing of getting a preliminary budget, discussing it, making any recommended changes just didn't fit the schedule.
So if we did it ahead of time, like now, and say, come up with a schedule with Hampton Golf, I think it would be a great opportunity, and then have a joint meeting with the Finance and Reserve Committee and the board to talk about the budget when we're doing that work. I would really enjoy that.
I agree.
I agree,
Yeah.
Cheryl, yeah, because I think one of my struggles as I look at the Reserve and Finance Committee meeting minutes is that based on the timing of their meeting, I feel like we're almost 2 months in arrears when we actually see the meeting minutes from them. And it's no fault of them. I'm not criticizing at all. I'm just saying it would be really nice to be able to have something like that in place.
I also think if they're closer to things, that if something comes up that needs some investigation, I think it becomes a much more valuable, possible resource for the board.
I agree.
Now, maybe this changes ultimately the composition of the committee, to your point about committee empowering and resident expertise. I don't know whether that somehow shifts the focus of the committee, but I love the idea of it.
Yeah, we need more people looking at things, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I mean, we
No, that's
can't,
fine.
we
They,
can't.
they would like to be involved.
Oh,
That's great. That's great,
That's
Ken.
Yeah, I know,
phenomenal.
I spoke to Byron, and he mentioned that to me, that they wanted to be involved, so it's good that.
Yeah, because I thought on that item, since we're there, that, it says ensure efficient and effective management of operations. I don't know whether we want to say operations and reserves, or whether that's implicit in what's there.
Operations and finances.
Finance says financial operations.
Where are you?
The title number 5, ensure efficient and effective management of operations. Actually, yeah, Rich makes a good point. It's got to imply
Yeah,
financial,
operations and finances.
because they're not managing the operations. It has to do with the financial.
It would be
piece,
financial
yeah.
operations, yeah, but then he's got the bullet under there that
That's
says
true.
financial
Yeah.
reporting.
Anyway, you get the idea.
Yeah,
You get the idea.
No, okay, this is the CDD strategic plan.
True. Oh, that's
That's,
true.
that's, yeah, good point.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's a good point. Ooh.
Duh.
The only other thing there were a couple things on that area. There were 2 things I would love to see in here, but I'm not sure how to incorporate them. The missing, I still think we need SOPs, and I don't know whether these belong here or whether it's a standard thing, but I think we desperately need to develop them. So I think maybe if we can find a way to incorporate that. And I also think the final bullet says the CDD board will conduct an annual performance review of the property management company. We also need to set the goals in order to do the performance review. So I think we just need to find a way to iterate that.
Well, it's not just review of project management, does that include Vesta or, Rosetta?
It's in another area. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I did not get a really chance to look at this.
so let's see. I had since Cheryl, is that everything you had?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. Ken, I wanted to ask you on number 3 under facility improvements. Coordination with facilities, finance reserves, assess infrastructure improvements needed over 5 years, complete by December 26th. Is that because we won't redo the reserve study till next spring?
Yes.
Okay,
okay.
all right.
But I would push that up sooner, only because if we're going to be looking at LaSalle and other things, we really should coordinate at least. You have the reserves you have the reserve study on one side, which tells you the useful life of our infrastructure here. But then there's the practical side, which I mentioned before, where if we're going to be doing LaSalle and knocking down some walls, that's going to affect how the dining room is. The dining room is planning to be done carpeting 2 years from now, painting 3 years from now, light fixtures 5 years from now,
Right.
shades 8 years from now. The hallway outside, when you first come in, is
Okay.
scheduled, the tiles will be scheduled to be done next year, and the painting the year after that. All of those things really should be put into a practical plan of what's going on. And
So is that just a specific task we could ask the finance reserve committee to do now?
facilities and reserve should have, maybe.
But that's a task rather than a.
Yeah, but we should have that sooner than later, so we
Okay.
can start figuring out where these things
Well, I
start to
think-
fall.
Go ahead.
I think what you would hear from the committee, and I'm not putting words in their mouth, but the purpose of a reserve study is not to set a schedule for projects. That's done by the board or facilities committee or whatever. The purpose of the reserve study is to determine how much homeowners should be assessed annually
Okay.
to provide
Yeah.
the reserve basis over the next 30 years.
Yes.
All right,
So you're
okay.
looking at a long-term picture of they're not putting in, the useful lives are the best estimate of the company that does these with input from maintenance and management companies of the facilities. But it's basically a guideline for determining how much should be assessed to the community
Fair enough.
How much
to
we
make
need to
sure that
bucket.
over the long term, we have
Yeah,
reserve.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay.
that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense,
That
okay.
makes sense, yeah.
But we should still, as a group then, I guess facilities should then sit down and work out the plan of how this thing should theoretically roll out. I'm not saying what year it rolls out, but.
If you want to do that, but
I mean, it's
before we
more-
go down that rabbit
Yes,
hole, I
back
have
to
a
the-
couple of things.
That gets back to Jill's point about item 3, the facility improvements,
Mhm.
is coordinating between the facilities and the reserve committee, assess the infrastructure improvements needed over the next 5 years.
Right.
So that's the first
Okay.
subset of time.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
And I had proposed we do the reserve study sooner, and the committee basically felt we should stick to our normal schedule because there's always gonna be changes taking place. And I suppose if you think about it, doing it later in 26 in our normal time frame, we'll probably know more about what we're gonna do with the sala and the building
Fair enough,
and have more insight into it rather than less.
fair
Yeah,
enough, fair enough.
Good point.
And we've already set the budget anyway, so, yeah, yeah. So I just had 2 other quick things, and maybe we can take a quick break, because I don't think
Yeah.
Belinda's here yet.
See, Belinda,
Um, So on the resident satisfaction input, Hampton actually does a resident survey in-house, so we don't have to engage
Oh,
an external, and that's included in the
I was
management.
gonna say, it's not incremental.
No, it's not
okay.
incremental.
All right,
we
so that's
can
a cost
just,
savings right
we
there.
can just engage the management company.
But it-
Few
It's
bucks.
a few bucks.
Yeah,
I'm taking everything at this
Yeah,
point,
well,
Rich.
well, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
I guess in that regard, I thought the whole idea of using the external contractor to do the survey was for independence.
well, I think it's something we can discuss then. We can leave it and discuss it with them. Makes sense to me.
I'm happy to discuss because I thought it was independence and
Sure,
capability.
sure.
So maybe we need to just consider it as we move forward.
Sure, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Then I just had,
Yeah, we can always do it.
okay, 2 other quick things. It also under number 4 in performance usage and monitoring. Do we need to, the first bullet says publish monthly and cumulative usage reports. Do we need to include the lap pool in that? And the reason I say that is because the lap pool gets an amazing amount of use.
We should be including that,
Not the resort pool, but the lap pool.
but, and yes, the lap pool for sure, and I think something else that we do need to consider in this, and I know the residents are not a big fan of it, is when we say fitness, we also mean the water aerobics
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Because if we are gauging resources, we need an accurate count of who's doing what and where.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
should include not only the lap lane, but water aerobics underneath the fitness piece as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I had was under number 6, participation transparency, use digital tools to increase resident access. I kind of wasn't sure what that meant.
Well, that came from the last study.
Oh, I remember that one. Okay,
Well, the intent there was, when we said digital tools, I think, we meant at the time to, whether it was Zoom or YouTube or, just look at technology.
okay, just, yeah,
Maybe technology is a better term.
okay, that's cool. And then the last thing is the quarterly town halls. I remember campaigning on that, actually. So is your idea on that we, literally what it sounds, we have, an open house type of setting, it's a noticed, publicly noticed meeting, but the form is a town hall rather than
It's because of our sunshine law requirements, which are different from the POA.
Yeah.
We would probably have to hold a, like an open,
Yes,
meeting,
yeah, it's a publicly
Where-
noticed meeting, yeah.
where unlike our regular meetings where the public only speaks up front,
Right,
for 3 minutes and then they don't talk, this would be, an open workshop.
yeah, it's a giant public comment period, and that's the only agenda item.
I love it.
I think it's a great idea. When do you want to start? Because it says we don't have a start by date.
That's up to the board.
Okay, we'll talk about it then. Cool. I love the idea. I think it's awesome.
We should try to get one in before,
I would say start a season.
no, I was gonna say before start of season, just so we get one under our belt and see how it goes. So if we have to make any
Oh, that's true.
modifications before season starts, it's not, we don't want it to be, out of hand.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Just
we'll
so
move it.
just so we can figure out how to
Okay. we'll move
control,
it.
manage,
Okay.
and make it work better. So if 100 people show up.
We'll have coffee and crumpets.
We're at 9:32.
Yeah, we're at 9:32. Is Belinda here yet?
Belinda's not coming?
Oh,
I thought she contacted you.
okay. Sorry about that.
I need a quick bio break and then I'm ready.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I need to redo this.
Okay.
Let me eat.
Sorry, everybody. I was waiting for
Hey, Jill,
Belinda.
are we joining by teams for the CDD